It's just so crazy to think that we are now at the point where social media is about to turn 25 next month. 25 years of social media. I just want to run through the history of social media, give you guys a little bit of a background, a little bit of a deeper understanding, and give you guys the chance to really take away where we came from and where we're going. So first off, I'm sure many of you guys didn't know this, but social media actually started in 1997. It's really interesting because it started out as this idea of a social network where we just got to see other people and connect with other people. The website was actually called 6degrees.com. It plays on that philosophy that you can connect with anybody with just 6 degrees of separation. So from myself, pick any random person in the world, I guarantee you I know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone that could get me to anybody in the world within 6 degrees. It was right in the beginning of the dot-com era that started in 95. It was sold for $125 million. That really set the precedent for what we see today as social media being a high-ticket, high-tech item where people are willing to shell out billions and billions of dollars. It all started from that first one in 1997, 6degrees.com. After that, we have this super crazy website called Hot or Not, which when we think about it today, totally blows my mind. Basically, the idea of are you hot or are you not? It's really the first social poll that we had where people got to say, this is what I think you are, this is what I think you're not. It's where a lot of people said they first discovered that there was this possible anxiety that comes from social media online. But this one's really cool because it's also said to be the inspiration for a lot of different websites that we see. YouTube, Reddit, Facebook. So hot or not. Next we have Friendster.com. When we look at it, it was actually one of the original dating sites looking for mutual groups of friends. I have a group of friends, they have a group of friends, we both have similar interests in that group of friends. There was a real technological downside to the way that this website was built really, and what that comes down to is the server space. There just wasn't enough server space for this website to continue to exist. If you're a 90s kid, even an 80s kid in the late 80s, this one is for you. MySpace.com. MySpace, we all know it. Tom, he was our first and our best friend. Tom is our guy. He created MySpace. He made it for you. He listened to the people. This one was a lot different than what we had seen previously because all of the previous accounts with Friendster or even earlier were private profiles. MySpace really blew through that door, opened that up, said we want it to be public, we want people to find you, we're going to connect with people that we don't necessarily know in the physical world, and we're going to now take that into the digital realm to build those digital relationships. This one hit its peak in 2005. It had 25 million users on it. That was unheard of for any social platform at the time, as this really was one of the beginnings. Next one we see, 2004, Pride and Joy, Facebook.com. From Cambridge, Massachusetts, this is the wonderkin of Mark Zuckerberg. There's been so much drama around this. Did it come from Mark Zuckerberg? Is this an invention of the Winklevoss twins? Is this an invention of someone else that Mark Zuckerberg just put his name onto? There have been lawsuits. There have been data breaches. You know that you won't have any of that stuff unless you've got the numbers to support it. They hit over 1 million users in the first year. They hit over 1 billion users within 8 years of launching. 2005, what a crazy time that was. That brings us LinkedIn, PhotoBucket, Flickr, WordPress. Some of these are even still at the top of their categories today. This is where we really start to see social media niche out. And what that means is people start branching into, I want to be associated with these individual groups of people. We see that on LinkedIn with business. People are going on there, finding jobs, networking, communicating. People within the business industry specifically are on this platform to find other like-minded individuals. PhotoBucket and Flickr, we see that with photo sharing, really feels like the introductory stages of what Instagram was there. But then we also even see it with WordPress, where it originally was created for blogs. Microblogging was just getting started back then, 2005 to 2007. People are just talking about their day, telling people what's going on in their life, and people love to see that. But they are also transforming the way the internet was done before and didn't really even know it. We see 2006 bring the likes of Twitter. Now, Twitter is still one of the behemoths today. It's really interesting that it's been able to stick around for so long. It was built when SMS, messaging was first coming out, designed around that idea of only having 140 characters in a text message to get your viewpoint across. Texting language, a lot of that originated from the time on Twitter. One of the most significant things we see on the platform is the hashtag, and what that really did for us was open up this idea of tagging. We see it on every platform now. Open up the idea of quick communication, quick reporting, but also linking to different sites, trying to be one of the main channels for people to get their information. and pushing them into another direction. 2007, this was a really fun one for a lot of people. This was Tumblr, and I know a lot of people that I know still talk about their Tumblr days. Even some of them still go on Tumblr, using that as a blog to be able to share your intimate details, almost like an online diary of who you are, knowing that nobody that you know will be on there, will be able to find you. It was just a really interesting time for people to express who they are, share who they want to be, tell people about their likes, tell people about all of these different things that make them who they are. And it introduced the idea of blogging to a much larger audience, where we bring WordPress back into the mix, get people that are creating new blogs, and get people that are never exposed to the internet in a social media way before experience in a practical setting. Now, we can't talk about social media history without diving into what played out in the year of 2009. China sets the stage by banning both Facebook and Twitter, making room for Weibo, the solution to the globalization of social media. So far, we've only talked about social media as a platform. 2009 was really pivotal in the fact that we had Facebook working with companies like Zynga to create Farmville, where social media now became an experience that you get to share or embark on with friends, comparing, this is what I did on social media, this is what I did on my account. This really became a lot of that comparison, giving, interconnectivity, and engagement back and forth between all of these different groups on social media. As if the experience-based wasn't enough for 2009, we even see this geosocial networking come to light. Location-based networking. Who is in your area that you can interact, engage with, meet up with? This is really the idea and the beginning of this hookup culture, and the app that really created that was known as Grindr. Now, 2010 was probably the biggest year in terms of introductions of new market disruptors. This idea of Instagram. Instagram sounded so crazy. You want me to take a picture and share it with people? What the heck is that about? We saw it with PhotoBucket, we saw it with Flickr, we saw it with these other opportunities where people were going to be just sharing pictures, and it didn't quite catch on to the mainstream. A lot of these happen time and time again when people are still trying to find that niche, find the audience that they need to be in front of, and it seems like, knowing what we do about Instagram today, something definitely worked starting in 2010. That really led all of these new pop-up companies to start coming in 2011. We saw Pinterest, which used the idea of the 2005 LinkedIn plus the 2010 Instagram, where we were able to share our interest, pin them on a pinboard, make it a little bit more about arts and crafts specific to that niche, and then even sub-niche within that social media. We see companies like Snapchat coming up, where Evan Spiegel created the disappearing photo. Absolutely unheard of. Why would you try to create content and then get rid of it? Makes no sense, except to Evan. And Google+. Google+ is the Google solution to getting into the social media game. An account where you can connect with other users through their Google information. Never really caught on, you know? It was one of those things where we wished for the best. We rooted for Google to get an even play in that market. It just didn't really work. Now, even though in 2012 there weren't many new platforms created, what we do see is that glass ceiling of what we thought was possible of a social media platform absolutely eviscerated. 1 billion users on Facebook. All the other social platforms were fighting for 50 million, 100 million, 1 billion users. That really staked Facebook's claim as the top dog, but it really came with what they had done in the past, being able to create experiences that people can be a part of, sharing it with friends and family, and taking the idea of social connectivity in a completely different direction while really staying true to this idea of interconnectivity on one platform. Despite Facebook having all of these incredible features, there was an opportunity that was missing. Enter Vine. 2013, the 7-second opportunity to build your internet fame. And this is where we really see that introduction of influencers, people that are following individuals simply because they think they're funny, simply because they want to see more of the content they're creating. You've got 7 seconds to capture someone's attention. Vine was a great experience where so many people love that, and it really helped set the precedent for what we see now on Instagram, on TikTok, even on Twitter and Facebook. It really, really drove home that idea that videos are the way of the future. These next few years, 2014 to 2016, were just so much technology innovation crammed into such a small amount of time. One of the biggest ones at the start of 2014 was the launch of Musical.ly. You might never even heard of it before. Musical.ly was what modern day TikTok is. specifically for music. The idea here of 2016 was all about learning from other people's successes, understanding that video is one of the most important things to move forward with. Instagram Live, IGTV, TikTok, they are able to use the ideas given to them from Musical.ly and bring it to every niche area. Now remember, Musical.ly was specifically music related, but on TikTok, we're able to put that to dance music, we're able to put that to educational resources, we're able to put that to humorous videos, and the algorithm, which is by far the most incredible thing with TikTok, started to be in that works where we get to see what are people interested in. Let's give them more of that content. That really was the driving factor that brought people into a personalized version of social media for them. These algorithms now play the biggest role in making sure that people are not only enjoying the content on the platform, but they want to scroll to the next one. They want to continue to engage with the platform that they're getting. Enter 2018, the Cambridge Analytica scandal. With over 1 billion users on one platform, there is so much data that comes along with that. Whatever your data is, they want your birthday, they want your likes, they want your Facebook groups that you follow, they want the games that you play, they want the times that you sign on, they want all of this information from you. And it was never really discussed before, the security of this data privatization, where there is people hacking in, taking that data, Facebook even selling that data to third parties without telling the individuals that they are going to be doing that. This brings in the first multi-billion-dollar lawsuits in the social media industry, where people are now fighting and fighting and fighting, saying our data is the company's responsibility. We put our trust in them. We are expecting them to not only provide us good content, good experiences along the way, but protect us while we're doing those things. Here we sit 20 years into the social media craze, and we're still now just discovering some of the best practices that protect the end user, that protect the individual, and that protect the rights of the individuals when they are on that platform against the new internet that we see every day. 2019 was a very tough year. Google finally throw in the towel with their social media platform, Google+. It was time for them to go. Now, what that did was open up the opportunity for a lot of these other platforms. Instagram, previously bought by Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, all of these to take the market share. Although it was a small market share from Google+, it allowed new people to come in, scoop those users up, and be able to show them what modern day social media can be. Looking at all that history of social media, what we understand is that social media is an experience. It's on us to make sure that we are taking advantage of what they have to offer, giving them the feedback as to what we want in the future, and understand that it is just that, social media. Make sure you take some time today, go outside, ride a bike, go outside, play a game, talk with your friends, talk with your family, enjoy all that social media has to offer, and we will see you next time on Prototopics Business.